So for our first example, we have 6x squared minus 5x minus 4. If you've never seen this method before, just bear with me for the first example, and hopefully it will make sense a little bit better for the second example. So the way we begin by factoring with this method is by listing two numbers that would multiply to give us our first number here, 6x squared. So we could pick x and 6x because 6x times x equals 6x squared. We could also pick 3x and 2x. Both, you could try both, only one of them will work. And picking the right one just comes with practice, but at the beginning you'll deal with a lot of trial and error, and that's why there's a bit of a learning curve with this one. But we're just gonna, for the sake of this example, we're gonna pick 3x and 2x. 3x times 2x equals 6x squared. Okay, and we're just gonna list it like that. And now we look at our second number that we're gonna try to find two factors for. It's -4, but for a second we're gonna forget about the negative sign, just care about the number 4. We could either pick 2 and 2, 2 and 2 multiplies to 4, or we could pick 1 and 4, because 1 and 4 multiplies to 4. For the sake of this example, let's just try 2 and 2. Again, so far, if it seems like this is random, it is. I'm just picking two different numbers that are gonna multiply to the number I care about, so 6x squared or 4. So, 2, 2. Now, the reason it's called the crisscross method is because now we're going to do a little bit of crisscross and find two more numbers. So we're going to multiply these two diagonal numbers. 3x times 2 gives us 6x. And if we do the same with the other two diagonals, 2x times 2 is 4x. Now, the whole reason that we did all of this is because we are trying to get ourselves to a situation where these two numbers can some way add up to the middle number in our original expression. So 5x is our target. Now we have 6x and 4x. There's no way, even if we added negative signs or subtracted these numbers, that we could get to -5, because 6 plus 4 is 10, and 6 minus 4 is -2, 4 minus 6 is, 6 minus 4 is 2, 4 minus 6 is -2, -6 minus 4 is -10. There's nothing we can do in terms of manipulating these numbers to get ourselves to -5, which means that this was the incorrect way of setting this up. Now, there's no way you could have known that, and that's why it's a bit tricky at first, but you'll eventually get the hang of it. So what we can do is, instead of using 2 and 2 to get ourselves to -4, to get ourselves to 4, we can use we can try 4 and 1. So let's try using 4 and 1 and see if we get any luckier. So I'm going to write 4 here and a 1 here. Now we're going to do the same exact thing. So 3x times 1 is 3x. And 2x times 4 is 8x. Now, can we use these two numbers to get ourselves to -5? Well, yes, you can. For example, if we did 3x minus 8x, that would give us -5x. So I'm just going to put, if I put a negative sign in front of the 8, bear with me for a second. 3x minus 8x is -5x, and that was our target. So now that we know this, we know that this was the correct setup. These are our factors, the horizontal rows. And since we put a negative sign in front of this 8x, we're going to just put a negative sign here. And since this 3x was positive, we're going to put a plus sign here. And then these are the factors for the original expression. So 6x squared minus 5x minus 4 equals 3x plus 4 times 2x minus 1. Okay, so this may look pretty intimidating. It does seem intimidating when I'm explaining it so thoroughly, but as you can imagine, as you continue to practice this, it becomes very quick and very easy, much easier than the method by decomposition, in my opinion. Let's move to the second example. We have a different quadratic expression, but we're just going to try to apply the same method. So there's only one way to split 3x squared up into different factors. That will be 3x and x. 3x times x equals 3x squared. Okay, now for plus 10, we have a couple of different options, just like before. We could do 10 and 1, or we can do 2 and 5. So let's just do 2 and 5. We're going to crisscross. So if we multiply 3x by 5, we get 15x. If we multiply x times 2, we'll get 2x. And then we just happen to be lucky here that we can see clearly that negative 15 minus 2 will be negative 17. And remember, the whole point of this is that we want these two numbers to sum to the middle number, right? So we got it first try. What we can do now is we need these to both be negative. Negative 15 minus 2x equals negative 17x, right? And since we made these both negative, just like in the last example, we're going to make these, we're going to put a negative sign here, and then these are the factors. So this equation is the same thing, or if you factor it, it becomes 3x minus 2 times x minus 5. That is how you do the crisscross method. It is quite tricky. I would recommend practicing it with a lot of other examples, but the important things to remember are you need these two numbers to sum to the middle number, and then if you make something negative, make sure to put a negative sign in between the numbers over here, and that's the method.